YouTube end. We're working on looking back through Drawsteel. Got it too. Ooh, that's a partial succeed. Hello Draco, welcome home. I am Momo Yumeko, magical girl in training. I do cozy streams, TTRPG streams, and gaming every day here on Iriam, and a few days a week over on YouTube. Welcome. We're going through Drawsteel. We're finishing up races, and we're getting into classes, hopefully. Last time we went over different races. I'll go over those real quick, give us a TLDR, and then fix up what we know of the mechanics, and then go from there. So mechanics wise, we roll 2d6s plus whatever our various stats are for any kind of rolling, and then we can essentially there are 3 different outcomes that can happen. The worst outcome, which is if I remember correctly, without having to go back, 6 and below is you still succeed. You don't fail, per se, in this game. So you still do something. It may not be the thing that you want it to be, though. A partial succeed, which is a 7 to a 9, that would be a partial succeed, so you get to do the thing that you wanted to do, but you have to do something to get there. And then a 10 through 12 plus gets you a full succeed and then a boon. There are different things like edges. Edges gives you, essentially you roll at the rank higher, with the 3rd rank being the highest. And you can also choose to spend points to make it better. Make the rolls better and such. Those are victory points. You can also activate abilities with them. It is very much a game based around you push yourself. You keep on going until you can't anymore. As for races, we went through the devils, which are essentially kind of like the tieflings of D&D. But they come normally from hell itself. Some of them can be from our plane of existence, the prime material, but a lot of them come from hell. From the 7 cities of hell in Drawsteel. The Dragon Knight, which is essentially a man-made race to protect a certain country. They're draconian, they have wings, tails, horns, everything. The whole 9 yards of essentially like a dragonborn. But a little bit more fleshed out IMO. Very knight paladin-y. They actually have an ability where they can actually recite their oath and get boon. Dwarves, which are literally made of rock. They can carve runes into themselves to get boons. Woad elves, which look like more like if you took a yordle from Runeterra and made them humanoid. That's the Woad elves. They're kind of like the wood elf kind of variant. But they look a little bit more furry-esque. High elves, which take up the residence of more of how the Aasimar are in D&D, where they were born of celestial bloodlines. They are in various like paler skin tones, pearlescent looking, with bands of metal seemingly draped through their skin. The Hakon, which are giant born. They can see the future. They are slightly psionic. In that case, they get to see their deaths before they happen, and they are doomed to that certain death. The humans, which I really enjoyed, unironically, normally we think of humans being kind of boring in a game. They actually went the really interesting route of humans are sensitive to the supernatural. We can tell if something's supernatural or not, which I think is sick, personally. The Mnemonic, which are essentially lightweight androids. They come from the Plane of Law. They're one of the many planar entities that are here in this game. The Orcs, one of the other races that were born in this planet. They are a peaceful race with fire in their blood. They will literally... They're known for their peacefulness, but if they do have to fight, they will. And that leaves us with the start of our looking into the other races. So, without further ado, let me show you guys the polder. This is the polder. They are our gnome / halfling race. Let's see what it says about them. Let me turn Iriam over a little bit so you guys can still see me as I am attempting to read this without my glasses on. I should probably put them on. Put my eyeballs on. Alright, so let me zoom in. After humans, polders are the most numerous and diverse ancestry in Orden. They are not humans, but they live in and among humans and share their gods and culture. Almost every human culture in Orden has a polder saint or human saint venerated by polder. Short, averaging 3.5 feet tall, the polder's origins are obscure. They are a young species who, like humans, have no single patron god. Their ability to shadow meld means they enjoy a reputation as excellent spies and thieves. Many polders consider this as a base slander and point out they are famed as chefs. Although, polders can be found in every profession, especially in cities. And that's on the polder. That's their little flavor text. Let me swap to Yappa. Because we're getting into reading mode. Alrighty, their traits. So, as last time, all of the races have a signature trait, and then they can pick out of a certain amount of points that they get per their race. And each trait costs something. In this case, the polder has 2 signature traits. Shadow Meld and Small! Exclamation mark. Shadow Meld is a magic self. You flatten yourself into a shadow against a wall or floor you are touching, and become hidden from any creature you have cover or concealment from, or isn't observing you. While in shadow form, you have full awareness of your surroundings, and strikes made against you and tests that search you take a bane. You can't move or be forced to move, and you can't take main actions or maneuvers except to exit this form or to direct creatures under your control, such as when you summon using an ability. Any ability or effect that targets more than one square affects you in this form only if it explicitly affects the surface that you are flattened against. You can exit this form as a maneuver. If the surface you are flattened against is destroyed, this ability ends and you take 1d6 damage that can't be reduced in any way. Okay, so they can literally just become a shadow. Blah. I could speech, I promise. So they can literally turn into a shadow. That's kind of cool. Now for small. Your diminutive stature lets you easily get out of or into trouble. Your size is 1s. They get 4 racial ability points. They get corruption immunity. Your innate shadow magic grants you resilience against the unnatural. You have corruption immunity equal to your level +2. Fearless, which is 2 points. Courage is all you know. You cannot be made frightened. Oh, that's actually pretty good. Graceful retreat. Your small size makes it easier for you to slip away from the fray. You gain a +1 bonus to distance yourself. You can shift when you take the disengage action. Nimble step, 2 points. A very light step serves you well when speed is of the essence. You ignore the effects of difficult terrain and can move at full speed while sneaking. Oh, that's actually really nice. Ooh. We are so back. Poltergeist. This is for 1 point. Evading others' notice gives you freedom to move. At the start of each of your turns during combat, if no enemy has line of effect to you, or you are hidden from or have a concealment from any enemy with line of effect to you, you gain a +3 bonus to speed until the end of your next turn. Or end of your turn. Blah. And then reactive tumble, 1 point. Staying light on your feet lets you quickly get back into position. Whenever you're forced to move, you can use a free triggered action to shift 1 square after the forced movement is resolved. Okay, so they're very mobile. I kind of like that. That's kind of fun. I really like that. Next up on our dastardly list, let me just boop. Our next one is the Revenant, the undead race. Oh boy, that's what they look like. So the Revenants, as we've already stated last time, the Revenants are a little weird, whereas they are more or less, you can be any of the races as starting, and then you become a Revenant. So you have to figure out like what kind of race you are before this. We will probably get into the nitty-gritty of how to make a Revenant. We'll see. We will see. The little bit we do already know about them is that they are a race that has been brought back to life to complete a goal of some sort. So let's get into it. The dead walk among us. Some of them are happier about it than others. Unlike the necromantic rituals that produce rites Wights and wraiths and zombies, revenants rise from the grave through a combination of an unjust death and the burning desire of vengeance. Creatures sustained on pure will. They have no need of food or water or air, and unlike their zombified cousins, they retain all of their memories and personality from life. These revenants are rare. Many are hunted by ignorant villagers who only see their dead flesh and assume the worst. Those who survive the Pitchfork Brigade either choose a solitary life, often as a wandering soul seeking out living company, yet constantly in fear of it, or they migrate to a metropolis such as Black Bottom or Capital, where lost souls gather to make a home. And this is a closer look of what they look like. Male and female. Honestly, really sick. I really love the designs. Like, all of the art for Drawsteel has been absolutely banging. It's been great. Let's get to their racial abilities. So they get 2 signature traits. Alright, former life. Choose the ancestry you were before you died. Your size is that of the ancestry size, and your speed is 5, unless you select one of the previous life traits, see below. You don't receive any other ancestral traits from your original ancestry. That's smart. That is very smart. Signature trait, tough but withered. Your undead body grants you immunity to cold, corruption, lightning, and poison damage equal to your level, but you have fire weakness 5. You can't suffocate, and you don't need to eat or drink to stay alive. Additionally, when your stamina reaches the negative of your winded value, you become inert instead of dying. You fall prone and can't stand. You continue to observe your surroundings, but you can't speak, take main actions, maneuvers, move actions, or triggered actions. While inert in this way, if you take any fire damage, your body is destroyed and you die. Otherwise, after 12 hours, you regain stamina equal to your recovery value. So your purchase traits, you get 2 points, or you get 3 points if you are size small, 1S. Bloodless. For you, this is for 2 points. For you, an open wound is indistinguishable from a scratch. You can't be made bleeding even while dying. Previous life, 1 point. You select a purchase trait that costs 1 point, 1 ancestry point from your previous ancestry. You can take this trait multiple times, selecting a different 1 point trait from your ancestry each time. Previous life, 2 points. You can select a purchase trait that costs 2 ancestry points from your previous ancestry. Undead influence, which is 1 point. Your supernatural gifts allow you to influence other undead. You gain an edge on reason, intuition, and presence tests made to interact with undead creatures. And then lastly, vengeance mark, 2 points. As a maneuver, you place a small sigil on a creature within 10 squares. When you place a sigil, you decide where it appears on the creature's body, and whether the sigil is visible to only you or to all creatures. You always know the direction of the exact location of a creature who bears one of your sigils and is on the same world. You can have a number of active sigils equal to your level and can remove a sigil from a creature at will. No action required. If you already have the maximum number of sigils activated and you place a new one, your oldest sigil disappears with no other effect. Additionally, you have the following signature ability. Signature abilities can be used at will. Detonate sigil. A magic sigil you placed on a creature explodes with energy, has the magic, ranged, and strike with a main action. It's ranged 10, one creature bearing your sigil. You do a power roll plus reason, intuition, or presence. On a less than 11, you get 3 plus one of those with a slide 1. 12 through 16 is 5 plus one of those with a slide 2. And then 17 plus gives you 7 plus one of those in a slide 3. In fact, the sigil disappears from the creature. But it does explode, so. Hee hee. Explosion sigil go burr. Alrighty, now for the Time Raiders. Let me zoom out here. That's what they look like. They have 4 arms, golden skin, different colored hair. They kind of look like pirates in a way. They almost look like they kind of remind me of the Githzerai and Githyanki if they had 4 arms. Let me zoom in a little bit for you guys. And so I can read it. That's what they look like. They kind of have like a punkish look, too. Very hard to distinguish between male and female, as I can tell. Because I'm pretty sure this one's female and this one's male. But it's really interesting. Alrighty. Let me take a sippy real quick. The original servitor species of the Sinolori, evil scions with near godlike power. The Kitsurai, Kurozorai, liberated themselves during the First Psychic War. In the centuries since, they built their own culture and civilization as nomads of the timescape. The exonym, Time Raiders, was given to them by denizens of the lower worlds who, seeing the advanced technology of Kurozorai wield, concluded they must be from the future. Shadow Knight, please do not say point farming in my chat. I actually now have a rule against that. That is rude. I would much rather you not say it. Where was I? Extraordinarily rare in Orden, Time Raiders thrive on the Sea of Stars, the sea between worlds, where the winds of Limbo roar. In place of eyes, Kitsurai possess crystalline ocular sensors that grant them high spectral vision, which are hardened against the extreme radiations encountered on the Sea of Stars, permitting them to operate freely outside of their vessels with only their portable rebreathers. Time Raiders also have 2 sets of arms, allowing them to wield melee weapons at the same time as ranged weapons. A single well-trained Time Raider is like a squad unto themselves. Okay, so they don't have eyes. They have, like, these ocular sensors. That's kind of interesting. Okay, yeah, so these look like glasses at first. But it's just crystalline bits. That's kind of cool. I knew they had 4 arms, though. But that's kind of interesting. Very alien. I like it. Pop over to here. Alrighty, so their traits. So they have 1 signature trait, which is Psychic Scar. Your mind is like a formidable layer of defense. You have psychic immunity equal to your level. Okay, so they have like psionic resistance. That's kind of cool. For any of my 3.5 folks out there. Like spell resistance if they're not using transparency rules. There we go. They get 3 ancestry points, like quite a few of the races. And oh my goodness, they have a lot of stuff. Beyond sight, which is 1 point. As a maneuver, you can adjust your vision to allow you to see through mundane obstructions. Hello, Hecko! Welcome on. Let's see here. Obstructions that are 1 square or thick or less. While your vision is adjusted this way, you cannot see the area within 1 square of you, and you don't have line of effect on any creature or object in that area. You can restore, I swear I can speech today. Restore your usual vision as a maneuver. That's interesting. So you got a 5-foot square of sight when you're like this. That's interesting. And being able to see through 5 foot of essentially anything is very useful. 4-armed athletics, 1 point. Your unique physiology enhances your movement. You gain an edge on tests that use climb, gymnastics, or swim skills when you can use all of your arms in the attempt. 4-armed martial arts, 2 points. Your multiple arms let you take on multiple tasks at the same time. Whenever you use the grab or knockback maneuver against an adjacent creature, you can take 1 additional adjacent creature you can target, not take. You can target 1 additional adjacent creature using the same power for both targets. Additionally, you can have up to 2 creatures grabbed at one time. Ooh, grapple build. You could totally do a grapple build. I mean, multiple arms is normally a grappler anyways, but that's awesome. Especially since, you could grapple them and then proceed to stab them with your other set of arms, because you can do that. Psionic Gift, 2 points. Choose 1 signature ability from the following options. Signature abilities can be used at will, as usual. Concussive Slam. You slam an invisible force down upon the target. So it has the psionic ranged and strike tag. It's a main action. It has a range of 10 and one creature or object as the target. Hello, to be or not to be. Welcome, welcome, hun. I am Momo Yumeko, magical girl in training. I do cozy streams, TTRPG streams, and gaming every day here on Iriam, and a few days a week over on YouTube. We're going through Drawsteel. We're finishing up the races and then getting started on the classes of it. Psionic Bolt. Dragon? What do you mean by that, Hecko? Psionic Bolt. You shoot forth a purple beam of psychic force that moves your target. It has the psionic ranged and strike tags. So with this, I normally on YouTube end, I actually have different toggles for my model. For Drawsteel, I chose to go with the more dragony look. It's part of, little bit of part of lore for, Momo here. Yeah, I'm a magical girl. And, one of my things is that I can turn into different creatures. And then, minor acceleration. You fill yourself or an ally with a burst of speed. It has the psionic and melee tag. It's a maneuver to use. Melee 1 and self or ally. It gives the target a bonus to speed equal to your reason, intuition, or presence, your choice, until the start of your next turn. Ooh, that's nice. And then Unstoppable Mind for 2 points. Your mind allows you to maintain your focus. In any situation, you can't be made dazed. Ooh. Oh, it's kind of like the elves. The elves also have the I think it's the elves that have Unstoppable Mind. That's interesting. Alrighty, now we are getting into the classes. Which, oh my gosh, I absolutely freaking love. The stained glass designs that they do for both the classes and the, oops. Can I not move everything and just grab the window, please? Like, that is very pretty. You have the different classes, and then it's just the stained glass. That is so cool. Hiya, Steph! Welcome, welcome, hun! We are going over Drawsteel. So... Oh, this is culture. This isn't classes. I think this is cultures. Yeah, these are cultures. Okay. Alright. So we get some more, interesting bits here. So chapter 4 is background. Let's move over to chatting, because we're gonna be yapping. Let me see here. I'll be doing a lot of yapping, so this will be easier. What makes a hero? What is their desire to stand up for the innocent and protect others somehow innate? Oh, is their desire to stand up for the innocent and protect others somehow innate? Are they born knowing that tyrants must fall? Does a higher power instill the idea that sometimes those least deserving of compassion are those who need it the most? No. A hero's life experience and the background makes them what they are. That background starts with the culture in which the hero was raised, and is threaded through the career that led them to a life of adventuring. Culture. A hero's culture describes the beliefs, customs, values, and way of life held by the community in which they were raised. This community provides life experiences that give a character some of their game statistics. Even if a hero doesn't share their culture's values, those values shaped their early development and way of life. In fact, some people become heroes primarily from the rejection of the ways of their culture. For our purposes, a hero's culture represents people, not a place. Yes, you might have grown in a great city of the capital, but your culture is more specific than that. One hero's culture might be the House of Alvaro, a noble house in capital, where they were raised. Another's culture could be a group or organization that moves around, such as a band of pirates or a secret order of sorcerers sworn to protect books of fell magic. It helps to get specific when thinking about your culture, and working with the 4 aspects of a culture can help you do that: language, environment, organization, and upbringing. Using culture. Directors can use the rules in this section to build cultures that players can choose for their characters. Blah. I can speech, I promise. Players can use these rules to build a unique culture or modify an existing culture for their character, working with the director to find the right place for that culture within the world of the campaign. In many worlds, at least some cultures have a majority ancestry. The people of Belgare, a duchy in the region of Vassaloria on Orden, are mostly humans. The folk dwelling in the Great Woad, a forest realm north of Belgare, are primarily wood elves. However, you can always choose from one of these cultures and take a different ancestry. A dwarf raised in the culture of the Great Woad speaks Iric and probably knows a lot about nature, while a dwarf raised in the dwarven Thaindom of Calver speaks Zydelak and might know a good deal of smithing. You can build your culture one aspect at a time, or you can use the following tables if you want to access sample cultures or make your own culture quickly. To create an archetypal culture for a hero who grew up surrounded mostly by other members of their ancestry, use or modify the aspect options on the typical ancestry cultures table. Revenants are missing from this table because they don't gain their ancestry until after they die. If you'd rather quickly create a culture based on a cultural archetype, such as a noble house or pirate crew, use the archetypal cultures table. Then add a language that fits best with the culture's concept. That's actually kind of interesting. I really like that. This is a little more of the DMing side of things, but I do really like that. And it has the tables. Let me swap over so I can show you guys the tables real quick. Don't want to move over. I just want the game and want the window capture. Thank you. Here are the tables. There's the archetypal cultures, and then the typical ancestries, and it has everything. It has all of the ancestries that the book provides, and then different archetypes that you may want to be in, which I think is really cool. That's a very interesting bit. Like language for, say, the devils. I'm not going to try to pronounce that. That is... It looks like Anjanath from Monster Hunters, so a little funny. Urban environment, bureaucratic, and then academic upbringing. Which makes sense, because the devils are very bureaucratic. Let me see here. Going back to chatting. There we go. Back over here. There is a lot. So, I'm going to look through this a little bit, glance over the culture bit, and make sure there's no mechanical stuff. Okay, so there's skills. So, different places that you've lived in. Give you different skills. So, depending on where you're from, that'll be the type of skills that you get. And it'll tell you what skill group to pull from. So, like, nomadic gives you exploration, one skill from the exploration or interpersonal skill groups. Rural gives you interpersonal or lore, or no, crafting or lore. Hello, Plain Company! Welcome, welcome, hun. Secluded gives you interpersonal or lore. Urban, interpersonal or intrigue. Wilderness gives you crafting or exploration. That sort of thing. And it gives you one of those skills from the skill list. Or skill group, as they call it. And there's so many other ones. Upbringing also does the same. It gives you a skill from a... looks like one skill group. Yeah. So, like, academic gives you a lore skill. Lawless gives you intrigue. Martial looks like... Okay, so martial gives you one from the following. So not all of them are like that. So they actually did a skill list for this one, which is like blacksmithing, fletching, from the crafting skill group. Climb, endurance, or ride from exploration. Intimidate from interpersonal. Alertness or track from intrigue, or monsters and strategy from the lore skill group. And that's like what you can pick. You pick one of those. Which I think this way of going about giving people skills, or at least extra skills, I really like. It kind of gives me remembrance of the Pathfinder 1st edition background skills, where you get skills throughout your life. So, like, your background skills is, like, skills that are active. So a lot of knowledge skills, lore skills, that sort of thing. You get a lot of those crafting, all that passively as you level up in Pathfinder. You don't actually spend your resources getting them because you already do. You can spend resources to get those, but it's really interesting. It kind of reminds me of that system in Pathfinder 1st Edition. Which I really like. I really like something like that. I will say this game is a little bit more combat focused, which is fine, but it does still make room for the roleplay. I think it makes it so your more active game is more of that heroic fantasy, but it does still make it so you are still doing stuff like intrigue. Your knight is still going to be able to calm people down if that's how he was, trained until now. I really like that. That's a very interesting way to go about it, and it's a very nice touch. Hi, Nightwolf! Hello, hello, friend! How is our guardian today? Languages! Let's see what the languages are. Sore. Hopefully you can rest. Okay, so we got languages based off of the race, and depending on where they come from. Oh boy. As much as I hate to do this, I'm going to skip this because holy heck. We will do a lore episode of this. More than likely, where we get a little bit more nitty-gritty into their own setting. Because this is like actual ancestry languages. They even have a dead language table. Yeah. Alrighty. Careers. Oh boy. Being a hero isn't a job. It's a calling. But before you answered that call, you had a different job or vocation that paid the bills. Thank the gods for that, because the experience you gained from that career is now helping you save lives and slay monsters. Okay, so this is the what are you doing outside of adventuring bit. So each career grants you 2 to 3 skills. Some careers allow you to learn extra languages. You get renown scores, perks, wealth. Okay, so you get a bunch of stuff extra with the careers. Different skills and such. I will go through one of these so we can kind of get a example. Let me show it off. Alright. Let me make it so you guys can see it. There we go. There's what you get with agent. So agent is you worked as a spy for the government or organization. In defining your career, think of the following questions. Who did you work for? Who did you spy on? Who shouldn't know your true identity and allegiance, but does? Who did you burn or leave behind to get the job done? You gain the following career benefits. Skills, the sneak skill from the intrigue group, plus 1 skill from the interpersonal group, and one other from the Intrigue group. Quick build is Disguise, Lie, and Sneak, because you already get the Sneak skill. You learn 2 languages from the list, and then 1 Intrigue perk, and we'll probably end up going over the perks when we go to make our character. Because, as usual, we normally try our best to build a character based off of what we read. Only reason I haven't been doing it as we go along is because I've never actually looked at the PDF, so... No clue where we were going. Let's see here. Move this over a little bit so you guys can see it. So this is all of the, like, inciting incidents. So it looks like this is, like, ideas for, let me make this a little bit smaller, maybe, so you kind of see them a little bit better. So these look like what maybe incited you joining the, adventuring group, which I think is interesting. I really like that. That is a cool way to go about it. As I said, I'm only going to go over one of these because there are quite a bit. But that is the agent. Kind of like a more spy kind of character. And of course, these are like what you did before you started doing adventuring. Extra little bits. And it goes through like sailor, warden, that sort of thing. We are now in classes. I'm going to take a moment, with you guys. We're going to take a little bit of a break. Because we just finished up the last of the races, and then went on to that tirade. Now we get to do classes, and I'm going to take a minute, talk to you guys. How is everybody? And then we can get to classes. It is already almost 6:30. Holy heck. We have already been going about this for an hour now. Insanity. But yeah, no, I'm really liking Drawsteel personally. I really like it. It is cool. I might run something with some Iriam folks. That'd be kind of cool. I will say this game is in its infancy, so it came out not too long ago. Let me check real fast when Drawsteel came out. Okay, it came out July of last year is when Drawsteel came out. So yeah, it is very new. It's a really cool bit though. Hi Audio, welcome hun. But yeah, no, Drawsteel's very interesting so far. I really like it. seems very simple to teach also. With, like, minimal math behind it. Which I really like. I like that how they did the races. You're not like, oh, this race gives me plus, like, 3 to my strength rolls. No, it's like, oh yeah, you get this boon for playing this race. And then you go into other races and they also just give a boon. I really like that. It honestly looks like an easy way to make your own races, too. Because you just assign them with a bit of points to be able to pick, and then go from there. But yeah, no, I hope you guys are having a good day so far. Both Iriam End and YouTube End. It's been a good time. We just got 2 classes for Drawsteel. We finished up races, went into a little bit of the background stuff. And then, now we're on classes. I haven't started yet, so you guys are just joining in just in time to, find out about that. I will be probably making proper videos for Drawsteel. I want to start making, proper TTRPG, breakdowns as long form content, so we'll see. But yeah, no, so far Drawsteel has been a very intuitive, and it seems very familiar yet different in a good way. They simplified it while still scratching that power gamer itch that at least I get from 3.5 being a 3.5 player. So I really like it. So with the classes, I believe these are the names of the classes. Let me check. Yes, this is the name of the classes. Okay. Oh no! I hope y'all are safe. Hail is not good. For those of you over on YouTube End, if you're ever wondering who I'm talking to, that is Iriam chat. I am so sorry you're getting hail now, Nightwolf. Hopefully you're not, like, getting pelted by it, because hail is scary. But yeah, no, my condolences, brother. Oh, God. Yeah, no, be careful. Be careful driving. Yeah, stay safe. To get started on the classes. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask as we're moving on. I am trying my best to watch between both Iriam and YouTube chat. Your class provides you with many features. Most of your abilities, your most potent combat moves and non-combat options, and a heroic resource that fuels many of those abilities. This book presents 9 classes to choose from. Censor. A censor is a trained warrior devoted to a saint or god. They hunt down the forces of evil using melee weapons and magic granted to them by their divine patron, specializing in confronting the wicked and locking down single enemies during combat. We found our paladin, boys! Conduit. A conduit is a devoted priest of a saint or god. They wield divine magic that smites enemies with holy energy and supports their allies, and are renowned for their healing abilities. Cleric. Elementalist. An elementalist studies the elemental forces of the timescape and controls earth, fire, the void, and more with magic. Many of their abilities cover wide areas on the battlefield, and they have versatile arrays of tricks that allow them to both control combat and manipulate the environment around them when the fight is done. I'd like to say that's more like a wizard druid mix. We'll see. Fury. Coursing with the ferocity of the primordial chaos in their veins. A Fury is a mobile warrior who gets up close and personal with enemies to dish out lots of damage. Leaping around the battlefield, felling foes, and breaking down walls is where the Fury lives. Gnoll. Disciplined and calm. The Gnoll is an unarmed warrior who manifests an aura that quells the supernatural and hinders the offensive prowess of their enemies. They use psionics to make their bodies stronger than any steel and faster than any steed. Psionic warrior, right there. The Shadow. Stalking from the darkness. The Shadow is an expert assassin and thief who steals equally well in melee, who fights equally well in melee and at range, as they get the drop on their enemies. They utilize magic to help them stay mobile on the battlefield and sneak up to their prey. The Tactician. A brilliant strategist and weapons master. The Tactician excels at granting allies more movement and actions on the battlefield. They also support allies outside of combat, always inspiring their friends to greatness. Talent. A talent is a master of psionics, manifesting powers that manipulate objects, minds, and time. These heroes can reach far into themselves to use abilities even when they don't have their heroic resource to spare, if they're willing to face the cost. The Troubadour. A troubadour inspires their allies with storytelling and sword play that is as much as an art as it is an act of war. Their quips, songs, and poems, and epic tales produce actual magic that harms foes and bolsters allies. They can even use their magic to tweak the campaign's story in real time to better suit their needs. Hello, Bard. How's it going? There are subclasses. That's all of the classes. We have 9 classes. Subclasses. Each class has a number of subclasses. Hello, Dominic. Each class also has a number of subclasses presented in this book. Your subclass determines many of your hero's abilities and features. Also further defines how you interact with the world from first level and on. You choose a subclass when you create your character. Ooh, so you start it. Oh no, are you? Uh-oh. I hope not. Uh-oh. Oh, wait, actually. Hey, guess what I just realized? I had my mic connected to headphones the whole time for Iriam End. Oops. I wanted to make sure. No. We've been doing this whole time in the headphones. I have been doing this for about 6 months now and still don't remember it. Hi Azriel, welcome, hun. Abilities. Abilities are special actions, maneuvers, and more that allow you to affect creatures, objects, and the environment. They represent the main abilities of your character. The main activities your character can undertake when the game is in combat or some other time-sensitive scenario. All characters have access to a few basic abilities, including free strikes and maneuvers such as grab and knockback. But your class, ancestry, titles, and treasures, and other heroic options give you access to more powerful abilities that can make your hero stand out. Oh, heck yeah! Hello, everybody. Who is you? Ah, the Star Crusaders are coming. I see. Hello, Star Crusaders. You guys get to hear me yap about Drawsteel. Alrighty, so we're going to go over this very swiftly, hopefully, because this is mechanical stuff. And I want to make sure that you guys get the basics of all of the mechanics for Drawsteel. But also not to overload you guys on information. Because, holy heck, there has been a lot in this game. So, for everybody that's new, Drawsteel is a fantasy TTRPG that uses 2d6 as their main rolling. There is no significantly failing rolls. There is only, you do something at least in the story, and that something normally isn't good. That's how they do their rolling. There's 3 ranks. There is that, you do it, but there is a catch, and then you do it and you get a boon. It's a very combat heavy system, where a lot of their stuff is more for combat. And it's just a general very nice breath of fresh air for a fantasy TTRPG. I definitely suggest looking back on some of the VODs where we chat about it more. But yeah, it has different resources, so we have like hero points, victory points, stuff like that. And those are the types of resources that you spend throughout your adventuring. If you rest, some of those actually reset and make you weaker, because they impose the hero wants to keep pushing on kind of vibe. It's very fun. Hi, Bumble! Welcome, hun! Your heroic resource cost. Each class has a heroic resource that your hero earns during combat. with some of your class's abilities, typically your most potent abilities, having a heroic resource cost to use them. When you use one of these abilities, you spend some of the heroic resource bestowed by your class, then activate the ability. The 9 resources in the game are the Censor's Wrath, the Conduit's Piety, the Elementalist's Essence. Hello, Mint! Welcome, welcome, hun! I am Momo Yumeko, magical girl in training. I do cozy streams, TTRPG streams, and gaming every day here on Iriam and a few days a week over on YouTube. Welcome, welcome. Also, hi Jay! Welcome, welcome, hun. The Elementalist's Essence, the Fury's Ferocity, the Gnoll's Discipline, the Shadow's Insight, Tactician's Focus, Talent's Clarity, and the Troubadour's Drama. I love the fact that the Troubadour is called Drama. That's too good. Our bard class having their ability called Drama is too funny. So, for all those that have just joined us, we are going over Drawsteel, a fantasy TTRPG that came out last year, July of last year. That has like a nice fresh air to how TTRPGs are. It is very much more heroic fantasy than your classic medieval simulator fantasy, kind of like more like D&D. With not quite as much of the math behind it. It's not as much crunching numbers as it is crushing skulls, as you can say. Heroic abilities. If an ability has heroic resource costs to activate, as in you can't use the ability at all without spending some of your heroic resource, then it is a heroic ability. If the effect allows you to use the heroic ability when it isn't your turn, you must still pay its resource cost to use it, unless the effect says otherwise. Some abilities don't cost your resource to use, but allow you to spend your resource to enhance or add effects to the ability, such as the Conduit's Healing Grace. These abilities are not heroic abilities unless the baseline ability can't be used without spending your resource. Unironically, so my main build in Warframe is called It's Magic Time, because I mostly play Dante, so and anytime I say it out loud when I'm choosing it, my partner has to go say that exact line. 10 out of 10. Signature abilities. Some abilities granted by your class, kit, or other parts of the game are signature abilities. So like your racial abilities. So a lot of the racial abilities indeed he is. Like some of your racial abilities, I'm trying to think of one that's a good example. Oh, the polder. The more halfling gnome folk. They can go into the wall. They can turn into a shadow, like an actual 2D shadow, and go into the wall. That is one of their signature abilities that they can use at will. So that's a good example of the signature abilities. Yeah, they can literally Paper Mario. They can't move. They can perceive things, but they can't move or interact unless it's like within a 5-foot square around them. It's really interesting. There's some really weird abilities, and I really like them. Like, humans aren't boring in this. They're kind of like supernatural detectors. They know when something is, like, unnatural around them and stuff. Not quite psychic, but, definitely close to it. And you got the different keywords, which we went over those during the race ability spot. So you'll have area, charge, magic, and weapon. Oh, ranged, strike, that sort of thing. And depending on what they do, that's the type of ability that they are. I'm super natural. Like, strike. Abilities with the strike keyword, often referred simply as strikes, deal damage to or impose harmful effects on specific creatures or objects. That's what that tag does. So depending on the ability in the tag, it'll do different things, like area of effects, what kind of triggers that do. Like, some of them are passive, others are very active. It's a very interesting bit. And that's just, like, the different types of tags. I will probably end up making a video on this later, to where we're going to go through each chapter and kind of explain in a little bit more of a easier to chew state. YouTube end, there are some examples of the different tags, so you guys will be able to check that out. Hang on. 2 seconds. So you guys can see it. You scoot this over. There we go. So this is a good example of, like, the auras. 1 foot square around them, but as you can see, it's like a 5 foot square around each person. Bursts. So how they calculate everything here, like here, Tactician's aura animates a 1 foot square. So there's, like, different auras. So, like, the Tactician's aura is 1 square in every direction from them. So it's like their ability can affect you as long as you're within 5 feet in any given direction around them. Yeah, it's like an emanation. Think of it in, if anybody plays FF14, the danger puddles. Yeah, no, be careful, Nightwolf. Do not get hurt, please. I do not want you getting hurt, brother. But yeah, no, you can see from the example here, YouTube end, of how they do it. Hang on, let me actually make this a little bit smaller so it's easier to see. There we go. And then below that, they have these. So we got the line of sight example, and then the cubes where you can just kind of lob stuff over. But each square is 5 feet, and normally when they say something in the game, they normally use the shorthand of 1 and 2. So, in this case, they have like a 2 cube within 5. And so they can go 5 squares in a diagonal, straight line, or in a weird, like, little squiggle. Um, and they can be able to do it. So as long as they can get the 5 squares, they can put the thing there. It's a really interesting bit. I really like how they simplify it to be just square increments instead of trying to do, oh, you can only do this within 35 feet, you know, or meters. I hate when they do meters, personally. Um, but yeah, that's the basis of around it. That way you can, it's just 5 or like 1 line, stuff like that. But yeah, it's a very interesting way to do the combat. And a good way to explain how your area of effects work. It simplifies it. You got targets, which is creature, object, enemy, ally, self. Heck yeah! You guys are insanity. Hang on, let me check here. Oh, heck yeah. But yeah, there's different effects, different ways that they go about telling you the effects. I will go over in detail soon. Yeah. Yeah, go get Fable. Go get Faye. Let's see here. So let's get into the nitty gritty, and also, oh my gosh, that art is awesome looking. Hang on. So now we're getting into the actual classes themselves. Me swap to gaming. So you can see this awesome heck in art. So we got the sensor. Yippee! Y'all stay safe. Yeah, you guys take care too. Have a good night, Crusaders. Have fun. Yeah, yeah. Sensor. Yeah, you guys come around, sometime soon. Sometime again soon. Blah. I could speech, promise. We're normally this kind of a vibe anyways. Nightwolf, did you get hurt any? I want to make sure that you're okay. Did you get in without minor casualties? I'm good? Okay. As long as you're okay. Hail is spooky and can hurt a lot. And you're already sore. So our first class is Censor. Demons and the deathless fear you. Criminals run from sight of your shadow. I have not. I don't think I have. I've been meaning to get around more to talk to folks. Agents of chaos, blasphemers, heretics tremble at the sound of your voice. You carry the power of the gods, armed with wrath and sent into the world first to seek, then censor those whose actions or even existence are anathema of your church. As a censor, you're at your best when the strong against the strongest foes. Your judgment terrifies heretics, stops enemies in their tracks, and even hurls them across the battlefield. Oh, that's cute! Yeah, no, got job. I'm proud of him. But yeah, no, this picture actually shows off the Dragon Knight, which, gosh, that works so well. Yeah. Yeah, I'll have to check them out. Pop back over into here. We'll do like what we did with the races, which is show off the artwork and then do their little flavor blurb and then go into the race. That is such a metal line. Hang on. So they have like little quotes for the classes. And it's, we fight until hell is empty. For the censor, which is more like a paladin. But yeah, no, the freaking design, the artwork for this is so pretty. Oh boy. Okay, so we are going to swap this back, actually, because this might be easier. Oh, that's cute. Heck yeah. Sea bunnies are cute. I like them. I'll have to look into them. Maybe join their streams eventually. They're little slugs. They're sea slugs. Sea bunnies are the cute little sea slugs. I mean, she could be a sea bunny and be like a sea princess bunny girl. But yeah, sea bunnies are like a little white and black sea slug. They're really cute. I like all of the weird little creatures of the water. Cuttlefish are some of my favorite though. Starting statistics. You start with a might of 2 and a presence of 2, and you can choose one of the following arrays for your other characteristic scores. Oh, that's cool. Hehehehe. I mean, I like land creatures too. Wolves, foxes, bunnies. Generally, most dogs and cats I am very happy with. And I like birds. The whippoorwill is one of my favorite birds. Also, sky puppies. I love bats. Bats are also some of my favorite creatures. Killdeer. that's interesting though, that they have like kind of like a lead array for their ability scores. I was wondering, because we haven't ran into anything adding to ability scores outside of your background abilities. Oh, you're fine. You're fine. You start with a might of 2 and a presence of 2, and you can choose one of the following arrays for your characteristic scores. So they make sure that you have specific stuff for your class to work. That's smart. So you can choose 2 -1 -1, 1 1 -1, or 1 0 0. So if you have a 2 points, you're going to have a minus in one of them. That's interesting. Weak potency, presence -2, average potency, presence 1, strong potency, presence. Starting stamina at level 1 is 21. Oh, yeah, right. The stamina system with that. We'll have to go over that a little bit more in depth to explain it a little bit more. We are going to be making a character sheet once we're done going over the basics of this game. I'm going to go loosely over the classes, and we can go into the classes more in depth when we make our character sheet. I think that'll fit better. 'Cause oh my gosh. There's 9 of these. There are 9 classes, and there's already a lot. It's already a lot. Yeah, there's 9 classes, there's multiple races. Quite a few races. Yeah, no, it's a lot. It's a lot. That's more than I did in college! Jay! So the censor is kind of like our paladin. So you choose your order, Exorcist, Oracle, or Paragon, and that is your subclass. Deities, you have different deities that you can choose from. Here's the proper, so, this game only goes up to level 10. I'm not sure if they will go higher or not, or if it's just baked at level 10. This is a newer game, so we will see what they have later. So first level you get sensor order, your deity and domain, wrath, judgment, your kit, my life is yours, domain feature and sensor abilities. Second level, perk, order features, and order ability. Third level, look on my work and despair. And it says 7 wrath ability. Interesting. Fourth level, characteristic increase, perk, skill, wrath beyond wrath, and domain feature. Fifth level is your order feature, 9 wrath ability. 6th level, Implement of Wrath, perk, and order ability. 7th level, characteristic increase, domain feature, focused wrath, and skill. 8th level, perk, order feature, and 11 wrath ability. We'll see what that means. And then 9th level, improved implement of wrath, order ability. And then 10th level, characteristic increase, perk, skill, Templar, virtue, and wrath of the gods. It seems like you have a little bit of casting going off of that. But we will see. We will see what happens here. Wrath. The power you serve grants you heroic resource called Wrath, fueling your abilities as you censor those your church deems to be heretics. Wrath in combat. At the start of a combat encounter or some other stressful situation tracked in the combat rounds, as determined by the director, you gain wrath equal to your victories. So this brings up victories. This is a main mechanic in Drawsteel that I know of from reading a little bit into it and from my partner helping. So you get victory points. You keep track of these, and they are here until you rest. You get stronger. The more victories you have, the more you move along. So it actually it gives you the incentive of one more fight. One more fight and I'll be strong enough. Kind of heroism. Making you want to go and risk it. The more you get beaten and battered and continue to fight on, the more you get stronger. When you rest, you lose those victory points. So it makes your party into monsters that want to fight things a lot. And it can be minor bits. It can also add into, like, encounters that you solve without fighting, too. It's really cool. It's a really cool system that I love for, yeah, no, it does feel a lot like how Warframe works. Warframe, honestly, you could probably run that kind of a system, because this is like a loosely based system. In the sense of, they literally tell you, hey, use this for whatever. Like, sure, we have races and stuff, but you don't have to use those. Use it for any kind of setting. It even has sci-fi rules. This is like in a fantasy sci-fi kind of vibe. It's not strictly medieval fantasy. Which I'm all for, personally. But I know that it's not some people's cup of tea. They do have some pretty sound lore, though. I really like it. I might look into the DM's end of it, for sure. But they do pretty good in Heroes here, which, there's Heroes and Monsters. Those are the two books. We've been going over, Drawsteel Heroes, which tells you a lot of the player side, but also a lot of the DM side of things. But I might go a little over Monsters. Just so we have some more DM stuff. Just in case people want to run this with their own parties. Okay, so you gain wrath equal to your victories. At the start of each of your turns during combat, you gain 2 wrath. Additionally, the first time each combat round that a creature judged by you, see judgment below, deals damage to you, you gain 1 wrath. The first time each combat round you deal damage to the creature judged by you, you gain 1 wrath. You lose any remaining wrath at the end of the encounter. Okay, so you generate wrath during combat. So you get hit by the creature you judged, you gain wrath. You hit the creature that you've judged, you get wrath. You generate wrath every round. You also get more wrath the more victory points you have. You guys already see where, how crazy this game can probably get in the number of bonuses. Keep in mind, your edge and banes, as they call them, you can only get 2 every roll. So you can only get that. But this, I'm pretty sure, is your damage. Let me see here. So it says that you can pretty much use wrath outside, except you don't get, like, more wrath. When you use an ability outside of combat that lets you spend unlimited wrath on its effect, you can use it as if you spent an amount of wrath equal to your victories. Such abilities aren't part of the core rules for the censor, but they may appear in future projects, which is nice. Judgment. So you do different effects with your judgment, depending on what your order is. You utter a prayer that outlines your foe in holy energy. Oh, so you have a mark ability. This is like this is like the Pathfinder Paladin, where you go and you get a bonus to hit somebody. Essentially. Your stuff goes off whenever you hit them. Ooh, that's cool. The target is judged by you until the end of the encounter. You can use this ability again. If you use this ability again, you willingly end this effect, no action required, or another censor judges the target. I'm imagining a party of censors right now, and I'm just hearing in the back of my head, Deus Vult, Deus Vult, Deus Vult. Oh no, the clergy is coming. Everybody's Gucci until you see a horde of dragon knights coming in. They're all censors. Oh no. That would be awful. Not gonna lie. When the adjacent creature when an adjacent creature judged by you starts to shift, you can make a melee free strike against them, and their speed becomes 0 until the end of the current turn, preventing them from shifting. Oh! Oh! Freak you in your 5-foot step! Get clotheslined! You are not moving. I love that ability for the... welcome back, Slayer. From the hit game Pathfinder 1st Edition. Welcome back! You're always loved here. When the creature judged by you within 10 squares makes a... Oh, wait! Yeah, no, it has a range of 10. So that means you have 100-foot freaking range on how many people you can hit. Wait, no. 50 foot. A 50-foot range on this to mark people. Yeah, no, you just go, you. I can't rush over there right now, but... That's really cool. I really like that. When a creature judged by you within 10 squares makes a power roll, you cause them to take a bane on the roll. Yeah, no, hi, welcome back, Slayer. This is like if Slayer and Paladin had a cursed love child. You know, that's just Inquisitor from 1st edition. Never mind. It's even called Judgment. That's even funnier. I'm not saying that it is, but it's very similar. When the creature's judged by you within 10 squares using an ability with a potency that targets only one creature, the potency is reduced by 1 for that creature. If you damage a creature judged by you with a melee ability, the creature is taunted by you until the end of their next turn. You can only choose one free triggered option at a time, even if multiple options are triggered by the same effect. Judgment Order benefit. Exorcist, Oracle, and Paragon. They're all the different ones. Hello, Cool Cheetah. Welcome, welcome, hun. Oh, off they go. Exorcist. You can teleport up to a number of squares equal to twice your presence score. Oh, no! Wait! No! So, Exorcist can teleport equal to twice your presence score. Censor, if we go back over here, starts with a might of 2 and a presence of 2. So they can travel 20 feet. They can travel 4 squares. They can teleport that far. Oh no. You do not need line of effect for your destination. You could do this through walls if you know where you're going. Oh, actually, it says line of effect, so you can probably do it through, like, someone's shield. That is awful. Welcome back, my heart. Ah. Oh, that's terrifying. Oracle, you deal holy damage equal to twice your presence score to the judged creature. Cool, you get smite. You smite the enemy. And then Paragon. You can vertical pull the judged creature to up to a number of squares equal to twice your presence score. You can just force choke somebody. You can force grab them. My command grabs could never. Okay, so officially, this might change later because Bard is normally my favorite class in TTRPGs. This might change when we get to the Troubadour, but I'm really liking the censor. The censor sounds so silly and fun. Just yoink. Do not at me. I would totally force choke somebody if they were an awful heretic. Okay, let's move this over a little bit. There we go. So you guys can see proper. Alright. Here we go. Whew. Yawned a little bit. There we go. Alright. So, my life is yours. You channel your will to mend your wounds or the wounds of your allies. You have the following ability. My life is yours. You channel some of your vitality into more resilience for you or your ally. It's a magic ranged with a range of 10. Holy heck! Being able to heal snipe somebody is insanity. Triggered. And it is self or one ally. Trigger. The target starts their turn or takes damage. Effect, you spend a recovery, and the target regains stamina equal to your recovery value. Spend one wrath. You can end one effect on the target that is ended by a saving throw or that ends by the end of their turn, or a prone target can stand up. Ooh! Ooh, that's cool. That's that feels very, Crusader Warbladey from Tome of Battle. So, a little bit of a side tangent here. Warblade. So Tome of Battle is, what we call the Tome of Weeaboo Fight Magic, in 3.5. You got Sword Sage, Crusader, and Warblade. Sword Sage is kind of your sneaky monk / roguish kind of vibe. Crusader is a paladin-esque class. And Warblade is kind of a mixture of a fighter with a barbarian. They all kind of do the similar thing of they do maneuvers. And those maneuvers are kind of like spells. Warblade has one that's a very interesting one called Iron Heart Surge, where if you're a target of an ability, of an effect, you can end it. There's been some really funny shenanigans with that. Like, one that is absolute nonsense, is a kobold, there's a meme for it, of a kobold warblade ending the sun. Because they have sunlight sensitivity. This is not true. This is not rules as written, or rules as intended. But it's really funny. That's essentially how it goes. So, like, say, you're on fire. Because you just got fireballed. And you're on fire. Because, you know, you can catch on fire. And you're taking passive fire damage. You can just end the effect. Iron Heart Surge, end the effect. You have the bleed condition. I end the effect. Stuff like that. I'm going to get mind controlled. I end the effect. Ironheart Surge, end the effect. It's simple as that. It's like a reaction type thing. But that's what Wrath kind of, or the spend 1 point of Wrath kind of reminded me of. Crusader has a few other things too that are very similar vein, but yeah, no, that's kind of cool. I really like that. Domains. So you get a skill group. You gain a domain feature from your domain. As shown, first level sensor domain tables list. Additionally, you can gain a skill from your domain, chosen from the skill group indicated on the table. So I'm just going to go through the different domains that they have listed here. And not go through the things. You guys can see it over on YouTube, and I hope. Hang on, let me check. Yeah, you can kind of see it. My wing is kind of covering it. Hang on, me. There we go. So you guys can see it a little bit better. That's the list. So we got creation, death, fate, knowledge, life, love, nature, protection, storm, sun, trickery, and war. And then their abilities, which we'll go over the features. Hands of the Maker, Grave Speech, Ocular Visions, Blessing of Comprehension, Revitalizing Ritual, Blessing of Compassion, Faithful Friend, Protective Circle, Blessings of the Fortunate Weather, Inner Light, Inspired Deception, and Sanctified Weapon. I have a feeling that the domains are going to be very similar for the, more cleric-y, the conduit, but we'll see. And then it goes through all of them. I'm not going through all of them. We will, if we end up going with, censor for our class, when we build a character, we will go through it, but they also have, like, a bunch of different abilities that they can do. So they can pick one, signature ability, and it's, like, different, like, oh, I can do damage and push you, I can do psychic damage, spend wrath to do stuff for their heroic abilities, and they get them as they get stronger. They really do really well at, if you're looking at the book, they do really well at showing off stuff. Oops. Did not grab myself. Do that. And zoom in. Yeah, they do really well at showing how things work. Everything's very much more like how a spell is structured in a D&D sense. But it is nice. It's very simple. Of course, M, P, all that. M means might, P means presence. Some of them have, like, M or P. such and so forth with some of these abilities. Oh, it goes through, second level stuff. Oh, that was just first level. Wait, that was just first level stuff. Brother. Yes. Yes, that was first level. I mean, okay, so on one hand, I am glad for the how they're doing the subclasses, right? They're introducing them at first level for all the classes. Unlike 5th edition, one of my biggest gripes for 5th edition is that some classes start at level 3 and some classes start at level 1 for subclass. That drives me bonkers. Because what do you mean the level 1 wizard doesn't know what he's going into? You know? It's weird. You either start everybody at level 3 or you start everybody at level 1. It doesn't make sense if people are staggered, because that also brings into the play of, if you're starting in the level 1 game, the people that have level 1 abilities already, freaking already feel stronger. Missing bots, Lily. Oh, is this Lily? Is this our wonderful dear? Hello, Lily. Hello, friend. We're going over Drawsteel, and I'm screaming at the clouds. Old man screams at clouds for about 5th edition D&D. Essentially. Because we're running into the looking at classes for this game. It's a like fantasy TTRPG. And they did the Chad thing of, hey, our subclasses for every class starts at level 1. Instead of us picking and choosing where our subclasses start per class. Because you're supposed to already be an established hero when you start your adventuring party. Like, okay, you have to have an example of, like, not example, an idea of what you want to be as your hero. So, it's very fun. I really like how this is. We're not going through all of it. We will go through it in detail depending on the class we pick for the sheet. Although, all things considered, the art is still absolutely baller. Bow wow! Yeah, let me move my avatar here on YouTube end. There we go. So you guys can see better. Yeah, no, I love this. I love how, the art is so good in this game, by the by. Like, in this book. I'll have to post some of it for those that are in the, Discord. I'll have to post some of this art, because, oh my gosh. Ah, it's so good. Also, I love the usage of the Dragon Knights for this class in particular. But yeah, no, it goes all the way up. It goes all the way up to level 10. Oh, wait, no, okay, so the artwork, makes it so you go through the story of the character here. So, level 1, we started out as a basic, sensor. And then level 10, we are the golden, like, draped in gold, paladin of whatever god they're under. That's cool. I really like that. That's such a cool little concept for the artwork. Now we have Conduit, which I think this is the giant folk. Heck yeah. Oh yeah, a little bit on the Verona Prime farm. We have gotten 3 of 4. We have 3 of 4 parts. Yeah, no, we did some hella grinding last night. I'm still gonna run relics for anybody that wants to run, Verona Prime relics. So people get a good shot of, getting it. All we need now is I think these systems for Verna. On my end. We got the chassis last night for lobby. And I was doing grinding, cause she had to do some story stuff, some MSQ. I think she got to, Angels of Zeraman, cause she needs Void Gel for, Verona. So, if you want Verona Prime, you're gonna have to get to Angels of Zeraman, which is post New War. Yeah, no, I'm excited to see the lobby again. I might just yap for the rest of the time because my brain, so much. I'm willing to grind with you, in a bit, since I'm probably gonna need to take a break from grinding tonight. There we go. We did a good bit of the book, though, for Drawsteel. I do intend to go over in more detail. Need my Fire Queen. Are you gonna try to get heirloom skin for Ember for reasons? Maybe. Man of Culture. Also, hi Zaris. Don't worry, I also have the fire skin. I have the lava lamp skin. If you know, you know. Man of Culture. Yeah, no, I hope everybody's liking Drawsteel so far. I'm enjoying it. Holy heck is it hard to, once we get into the, classes, is it a little overwhelming if I'm not, like, teaching somebody one-on-one. Thank you. But yeah, no, I've been enjoying the Verona hunt. It's been fun. The want to, look at where we're at with that. because I don't remember how many relics I have for the systems. Which, sadly, the systems is a gold. So pain. Pain. But yeah, no, so next time we do Drawsteel, we are going to go lightly through Conduit. I'm probably going to write down cliff notes for myself for the different classes and let you guys just chill on the cool art of the class and read the cliff notes, because oh dear god, the classes, reading them out of the book is a lot harder than the races. So that might be the easier way to go about this moving forward. Some D&D, some TTRPGs do be like that. So far I really like the Paladin-y, Censor, which is a really cool class. But yeah, we did pretty good. We went through, finished up races, did the background stuff. You know, who you are as a hero, where you grew up at, that sort of thing. Oh no, I'm stuck. Went over some of the how you get like your actual ability scores and such. So it's based off of your class. You get your primary and secondary scores, and then you choose from an array. Which doesn't seem too dissimilar from how they do it in Monster of the Week. And now, thinking on it, this is very Monster of the Week. Except you have races. Your playbook isn't everything, including your race. It is your class, but that's kind of an interesting bit. I really like that. That's a fun little concept. Yeah, no, you can tell that there's a lot of love given to Drawsteel, which I like. I really enjoy that. I wish, not looking at any, big name, tabletops currently, they should probably take some notes. Also, the art is phenomenal. Also, I will be beside myself if I find out that they used AI. I don't think they did, but I will be beside myself if they used AI for any of this, because the art has been phenomenal. There has been full-fledged, like, stained glass designs for the races, the different backgrounds, stuff like that. And then, like, full character portraits of characters in action and such. I will be beside myself if it's AI generated any of it. I will cry, because it's been very nice. But all of it seems very in line, so it shouldn't be. And like I said, a lot of this is, it is newer, so there's not as much stuff. Also, holy heck, I'm scrolling through some of this, and The Elementalist is very pretty. I'm just gonna say that. I like how all of the different, races are also... Yeah, here's an orc, but they're not, like, orc, you know? They're not like how we normally imagine them to be. They are peacefaring and do not like the fact that their blood boils when they get into a fight. So I'm looking a little bit ahead at the Fury, and it looks like a druid. It looks like the Druidic Avenger, specifically. Oh dear god, it is. Oh, that's sick. Yeah, no, I'm happy with that. The Null looks like Monk mixed with, Scion. The Shadow is definitely... The Shadow is definitely the Rogue. Rogue, Arcane Trickster, more like the Binder. God, some of this artwork is sick looking. The Tactician is definitely your fighter, but done proper. Yeah, definitely your fighter, but done proper. The talent is definitely a Scion. And the Troubadour is definitely our Bard. That's just Bard. Also with very nice artwork. And there's like kits. So they have like a kit thing, very not too dissimilar from how AD&D is. And possibly, partially also... kind of like how, archetypes work in Pathfinder 1st Edition, where you trade out stuff and get stuff back. Possibly. We'll see. There is a lot of stuff here that I am skipping over because, one, I feel like it'd be really hard to explain, at least for Iriam end, for you guys over here on Iriam. And I would feel really, really, really bad not being able to explain it properly. Also, there's so much. There are so many working parts in this game that I'm probably definitely going to just go over the basics of the class, what its themes are, how its like main ability works, and then move on and not get into the nitty-gritty of like their class abilities and stuff like that. Simply because there are so many. Let me see how many. So the sensor starts on page... starts on page 78, right? Let me see. It ends on page 93. Yeah. Yeah, no, it's like, it's about 20 pages per class. Drawsteel's huge. It's a big book. And I'm pretty sure we're not even halfway through it. Yeah, no, it's a pretty long one. But that's kind of the thing with TTRPGs. Yeah, no, we're a fourth in. We're a fourth in. So we're on page on the PDF 108 out of 417. I have seen bigger. Unironically. I've seen bigger books. So Colt is a really cool TTRPG I want to run eventually one day. That is the biggest TTRPG I've seen so far. Let me see how many pages is Colt. Where is Colt? Whoops. Let me see here. Alone, Call of Cthulhu has 370, so... Oh, no, you're good. Trying to find it. Over 600 pages. Yeah, Colt is huge. It is a thick TTRPG. Yeah. Yeah, no, it's huge. So Colt is a very dark TTRPG. It's really good, but so it's a dark one where the essence of God is dead, we have killed him very much stands out in it. It is you trying to survive in a world where God has left. To everybody else, it's business as usual. But to those that are sensitive to the world around them, demons and monsters prowl around trying to eat people. those mysterious deaths that happen, like a car crash, is normally a sensor for your brain because it can't understand what it's seeing. It is very much eldritch horror at its finest. But it's a big book. Like, normally a core rulebook is going to be thick. You know, core rulebooks are normally fairly thick for the reason of they are both fitting your normal TTRPG rules, so like player end, a lot of what you guys would be reading, versus what the DM needs. Cole is very thick on both, but also, oh dear god, it also has a lot of lore. It's wonderful, it's amazing, but oh my gosh, it's a lot. I'm never going over Cole on stream. Because we will literally be here for like 3 years. Heck is correct. Hello. Yeah, no, heck is correct with that. Yeah, it's a long book. I have read through it a few times, trying to understand the rules. I still don't understand the rules real well. I always turn into just looking at the pretty pictures towards the end, because the artwork is very reminiscent of a Polish artist that I really, really like, thanks to my main DM for the Monday game that I play in. Because it's how he depicted hell. And the artist that it reminds me of, hang on. What is their name? Baczynski. Baczynski, he painted nightmares and such. Very much a surrealist artist. You wouldn't imagine, this magical girl liking this kind of art, but, if you've been here for a while, you'll be like, oh yeah, no, that tracks. I'll toss it in the server for this. Hello, James. Welcome, everybody. Over on YouTube end. Where is the... Where is the spot that I normally do... Media and sharing. There it is. There we go. But yeah, Baczynski is one of my favorite artists. He is a Polish artist that did a lot of very dystopian surrealism. It's very beautiful, but also awful at the same time. Actually, one of the artists that also got me into hardcore into surrealist art. There's actually a, Thing. Hello, Rosie. Welcome, welcome, hun. I am Momo Yumeko, magical girl in training. I do cozy streams, TTRPG streams, and gaming every day here on Iriam and a few days a week over on YouTube. Welcome, welcome. We're just wrapping up Roll Your Die for the day. I'll probably be on Warframe later for everybody that does Warframe stuff, shenanigans. Thank you. Yeah, I'll probably be on Warframe just to, like, vibe. I do need to make dinner soon, though, so I'll probably get dinner in the oven before I get on Warframe. I'm gonna make pizza for dinner tonight. But yeah, no, I definitely suggest, if you have the ability to be able to look at, more horror art, Baczynski is definitely someone I suggest looking at. They have gorgeous art, but that's along the lines of how Cult looks. I'll let you know. Yeah! Don't be afraid to go into, public lobbies, too. 9 times out of 10, you'll probably run across somebody that is doing farming. And that normally ends up being pretty interesting, especially if they're looking for the same frame you are. I don't know many people that go for Ember anymore. So, it might be interesting. But yeah, no, I know tomorrow I might do a short co-working at the beginning of stream, and then go into Warframe. Because Monday we are going to be doing it a little bit early, doing our stream early. Ember and Rhino. A whole lot. The Jekyll fight. Yeah, that's how you get Rhino parts, is doing the Jekyll assassination over and over. Yeah. Gotta get the parts and gotta get the ingredients. Yeah, no. So, yeah, tomorrow we'll probably do some co-working at the beginning, and then do some Warframe shenanigans for a couple hours. And then at about 6 o'clock my time, so 2 hours ago, we'll be going and raiding Lobby, everybody over on Iriam End. We'll be going and raiding Lobby because she be coming back on the 13th. She be coming back on Monday. Yeah. So 13th, Lobby comes back. Yeah, gonna spam her stars. Yeah, she is in the event. And her comments. Yeah, no, I'm saving up my points for her for Soon Scoops. Also to get a star badge for Lobby. Because I'm getting her star badges again this month. I always do. But yeah, no, tomorrow co-working into Warframe, and then Monday hit or miss. We might just make it a Zatsu Yap session. Just chat. Take it easy. Until 6. Oh, wait, no, Monday, might be actually a later, because I forgot that I have Alaris. Monday. depends. I mean, I could probably play the game while I yap at you guys. So, we'll see. Want cheeseburger? I'm making pizza! Burger. Burger is good. But cheeseburger. I can make you a cheeseburger another day. Burger on pizza. I mean, cheeseburger pizza is pretty good. So, like... cheeseburger pizza is pretty good. But yeah, I hope you guys are having a good night. I will get off here so I can start on dinner. Because sadly, I cannot trust any of my family to not use my IRL name. Or I would take you guys with me. I know. I'm sorry, Lily. I'll be back tomorrow. I promise. I'll be back tomorrow. Don't worry. We'll be doing shenanigans. But yeah, I hope you guys have a good night. Stay safe. I don't want to have to come and protect you. And goodbye. Yeah, have a good night, everybody. Bye-bye.